check. Mic check, mic check, mic check. What is going on, everyone? We're stuck on Doobie's face for a second. I don't know why. I hate when I stream in the office. Everything is all fucked up. Everything is discombobulated. Give me 1 second and I will fix that. How is everyone doing? Back for another episode of the NoLife Digital Podcast. Where is this thing? Here we go. Enable when I talk. Where is that? Where is that? There we are. Okay. What's going on? We got 2 games that we've been playing that we're going to chat about. The Surge 2, which I have a lot of thoughts on. And then Doobie's going to talk about Code Vein, which we touched on last week a little bit. Then we got some news. We got a little bit of tech news. And we're good to go. Let's try to keep this episode under an hour and a half. I challenge my co-hosts to this. And let's bring them on. What's up, co-hosts?
I'm not the one who talks the most.
I am the one who talks too much.
How's it going, guys?
I love the sound of my own voice.
When we talk about games, dude, we could just go on for fucking ever, man. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's just jump straight up into it. No chit-chat, no bullshit. The Surge 2. I have game footage, but I'm not at my home PC, so I'm not going to be able to play it. Have you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of the Surge 2, right?
I remember the Surge 1. I didn't.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, the Surge, just in general. It's like a Dark Souls meets, what would be a good, I mean, it's kind of like a Gundam Dark Souls game. It's a lot about like futurism, and it's a lot of mechs and tech and, dismemberment. Super duper fun. The first one
The first one was actually supposed to be pretty good. It was just too short almost.
It was short. It was very difficult. And my biggest problem was when you die, it takes like a while to get back to where you were, to kind of get back into the swing of things. It was just very frustrating. It was fun though, and they had something going. It's obviously going to be fun because it's the Dark Souls.
Well, no, yeah, the first one was like Future Souls. That's like kind of how it was going, you know?
Yeah.
So you're playing Dark Souls mixed with futurism, and I'm playing Dark Souls mixed with anime.
Yeah, exactly. So we got that's what we should rename the episode to, like Souls tier. Hold on, let me make sure that we're actually live on our stream. For some reason, I don't think we are. Hold on a second. Keep it going. We should be good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Yeah, so there's the first one I enjoyed, but it was kind of a far away cry from my enjoyment that I had with Dark Souls. I'm the biggest Souls-like fan. I love Souls-like games. I love Dark Souls games, one of my favorite series ever in gaming. And I was really hoping that the Surge 1 kind of would give me scratch my itch of like, I like that futurism stuff. I like that more kind of brutal combat, but it kind of fell flat. The Surge 2, on the other hand, fixes basically everything. It's really impressive. So I'm reading the reviews, and I'm trying to get a gauge for why it's rated so adequately. It's like it's not rated as highly as I would probably rate it, and I'm trying to understand why. The story is kind of lame.
It's like a perfect 7.5.
Yeah, that's kind of where everyone's kind of putting it at, which when you first play like the first few hours, I can kind of understand that. But once you get into the game and you start off or like later on in the title, you basically start to get into the swing of things. I've just been having a fucking blast with it. It's such a great cross between an arcade style combat game and Souls. So it's like super duper difficult, but they fixed all the stuff that was so punishing about the first one. So you would die and you would have to travel at least a minute or two to get back to where you were fighting, and you have like a countdown. If you don't get your soul basically where you died in that countdown, you lose all of the stuff that you gained, all of the money that you gained. You get to keep all of the items. And that adds like a level of, that just adds like that extra challenge on top of like very difficult boss fights, very difficult enemy fights, very just sort of like punishing level design. You'll get cornered into like these alleys with like 3 just super powered, kind of zombie like people that just will just fuck you up, or you'll get attacked by like a swarm of these like mechanical drone things that are very difficult to take down. And it's all of like this punishing stuff that makes the game so rewarding when you get through it. But like the first one, when you get punished, it was kind of too punishing. You were kind of just like, fuck, man. It just kind of left you dismotivated or unmotivated to kind of continue on. Where this one, I feel like that doesn't exist because there's so much customization. There's so much gear that you can get. Every enemy has like a weapon, a certain type of gear that they have, and you can just chop off some dude's arm and take their weapon. And there's like a certain sort of like mechanic that you need to do to chop his arm off. So you have to like break down the shield that he's got, and then you have to do like a dismemberment thing. And it just adds like another level of gameplay to it that makes it pretty fun. But it just doesn't feel as punishing as the first one, even though it is. I've probably died more times in this one than I have in the first one, but it just doesn't feel that way. There's so many fucking just great shortcuts. I love the level design, just massive scale where you go to these like pretty crazy areas. They don't look that big, but you just can just go 10 stories in the air, or you go deep underground, and they all kind of connect back to your bonfires, or in the Surge's terminology, they're called med bays. So that's basically what you're trying to do. You're trying to connect all these big zones back to your med bay so that when you do get killed, you're not too far away from your soul that you can kind of go back. So you kind of have to like actually explore the game, and you're rewarded for taking risks, like, jumping over these kind of like, traps in the ground, or going through this crazy amount of enemies just to get to that one door that you have to unlock that opens up this awesome shortcut right back to your med bay. Super duper fun. I love all of the weapons. I mean, just tons of weapons. And what's great about this one compared to a lot of the other ones, there's no like weight limits. You can carry as many weapons as you want. You can carry as much armor as you want. You can only hold or equip a certain amount of stuff. But I mean, it's the play styles are endless. What also I like is that, like in The Witcher, where you wear a certain armor set, you get certain perks, and they have that in this. But with this one, there's actually half armor sets that you can wear. So you can just wear like a pair of leg armor pieces and a helmet, and you activate the half of that armor set, and then you can have another half.
Get yourself that 2-piece bonus.
Yeah,
good old RPG WoW style.
Yeah. There you go, the 2-piece. So with this one, you can have 2 different armor sets on that both trigger 2 different bonuses, and
I'm a fan of that.
Great. Yeah,
no, that's
me too.
cool. I'm a big fan of that style, because
Yeah.
a lot of places do like, no, you need 6 pieces and then you get some bonus. Like,
Right.
I do like variation of bonuses where you can combine them to like change your gameplay style.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
because
a pro.
you don't want to wear an armor set. It has an awesome set bonus, but you're like, this looks stupid. So with
That
the
too.
Surge, I mean, you can make your dude look pretty sick and have any sort of amount of bonuses attached to it. There's implants, which are your just inherent powers. And you don't get like 2 or 3. You get fucking as many as there are levels. I think there are 100 levels, and every 10 levels you get an implant slot. So you can equip so many of these implants, which there's one implant that you get early on, which shows you the direction that the enemy is attacking, so you can easily parry them. There's one that allows you to heal yourself really quickly. There's one that allows you to sort of like boost your defense. There's one implant that I got that just makes it so you get one hit killed, right? So if you wanted like a super hard challenge, you can throw that in there and try to. I can't imagine anyone using that implant. It seems insane, but it's just like super fun, super silly. Some of the characters, the voice acting is not that great. The story is just absolutely ridiculous. But to me, it's like, I don't even really care about that. I really am just invested in this world. I want to fight these bosses. I want to get all the cool loot, and I want to actually like get good at the game. There's like these 2. I will say my biggest sort of issue with the game right now is that there's this weapon that they're like 2 gauntlets. So you have like these spikes on your hands. And they're just way overpowered. There's no reason to use any other weapon which is a shame because there's so many cool weapons. There's one where there's like this fucking chainsaw attached to this giant like scythe thing that I wanted to use, and it's just like it's just way too slow and it's not powerful enough. Where the gauntlets, I mean, you can just rack up damage very quickly. I would love a tweak there. And I know some people are kind of upset that the story kind of sucks, but I don't think it hurts the game too much because, you know, Dark Souls isn't necessarily known for its story as well. While the story's okay, probably better than the Surge, it's not known for its story. This game, these are like the new age sort of like, what's that fucking one Nintendo game, Doobie, with the underwear?
Metroidvania.
It's sort of like Metroidvania, but more like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, where it's just extremely difficult. You're kind of, it's Metroidvania like in its world design, but you know the difficulty is, you know, kind of like Contra as well. The difficulty is really why you play it, because that's kind of what makes the game so fun once you beat those fucking bosses. I was stuck on a boss when I first got the game for 2 days. It took me 2 days to beat this boss, and I couldn't be happier. I would love bosses that took a little bit longer to beat. I remember my first big boss fight in Dark Souls 1, which I think was that worm dude. I can't quite remember, but that took me a while to beat. And then in Sekiro, I mean, Sekiro is all about these boss battles, and I think that's why Sekiro might be my game of the year. But I'm super happy with the Surge. Super fun. Is it worth $60? That remains to be seen. I don't think this game is much longer than the first one, so we'll see, which would be pretty depressing. I think I'm close to beating it, basically, and I've only had it for, you know, a few days.
I am curious, what are you playing it on?
PC.
Okay, interesting. Because that's because I was looking up, trying to also understand the reviews, I guess.
Yeah.
Steam, it's not doing too well, but like Google, it's at like an 88% of customers recommend it.
Huh.
Steam, it's at 72. Almost every complaint is performance
Really?
and optimization. Yes.
Interesting.
Or like just random bugs people are finding, things like that. But otherwise, it's all like those are the only negatives I found. So
Okay,
that could be
sense
something
then.
with that could be something with the PC port. Like almost all of them are actually thumbs up. There's still a lot of people thumbs upping it and bitching about performance bugs.
But that's a
But
good
like,
sign.
but like all of the negatives I'm really finding are like some people pointing out it's a Souls game. You should use a controller. People are
Yeah.
saying like if you're playing with a keyboard, the key bindings are completely useless. They're poorly mapped. The textures are buggy because they're basically sounds like you have to have a really good computer to max this thing out.
Yeah, I
And it's
haven't
not
had.
optimized the greatest.
You know, this just seems to be a common theme with games these days, because Control was the same way. I played it. It ran flawlessly while streaming and watching YouTube on the side, and it looked amazing. But I didn't have any problems there. But it seemed to be a real big problem on consoles, and a lot of PC users who don't have like a max out rig were having issues as well. This one could be the same thing. And that's kind of, I was trying to understand why some of the, you know, why the reviews are kind of getting pounded. So that kind of makes sense. I haven't noticed any issues. I had one crash, which was,
Another
it
thing,
sucked, but
yeah.
just once.
Another thing sounds like there might be some NVIDIA driver issues with it so far.
Yeah, maybe
Shoot.
if you have an older card, it might not be running the best. I'm not exactly sure, but that's
Yeah,
hopefully
like
they fix that.
There's one person who has 51.2 hours on record. So he's already invested a lot of time, and he thumbs downed it because he's just like, yeah, almost most of this 50 hours was just trying to get the game to run because of NVIDIA driver issues.
Wow, interesting. Well, if you play it on PC, definitely use a controller. You can't play a Souls game with a keyboard. There's a lot of like sneaking that you have to do in this game, and you just can't do it unless you have like a linear keyboard or like one of those like optical keyboards, which no one has. And if you got it on console, I would love to know if there's performance issues there. I mean, it looks great. It does look great. I mean, it looks okay. The world looks great, but some of these like NPCs, they look wacky, dude. The hair looks wacky, like wacky in a bad way too. Overall, I've been happy.
A lot of it, I am curious though to dig into some of the performance, I guess, because like there's one guy who's saying, yeah, dude, I got a 980 Ti and I'm running 1080p at 60 frames, like, and that's it. 980 Ti is still a good card.
Yeah.
That's still like about a 1070.
That
You
should
know what I
run
mean?
any game on the market.
Right? And he's like, yeah, I'm getting 60 at 1080. We're good.
Yeah.
That should be getting more than 60 is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I've been playing 1440 maxed out. Well, maybe not maxed out. I turned some things down because I did notice I wasn't getting 60 frames. There's a lot of like ambient occlusion and stuff like that, so that might have had to do with it. But I did turn some things down, but for the most part, like the textures and all the other stuff is maxed out, and I'm hitting 60 on a 1080 Ti. So I can imagine anything lower than that, it's gonna be tough. And these worlds are no joke. Like there's minimal loading screens. There's a few loading screens that you'll get into when you enter these like bigger zones, but the entire maps, like these entire sectors, are wide open, and there's tons of enemies everywhere. I can imagine it's pretty taxing. So that is something to consider if you don't have quite the maxed out PC. You might want to get it on console or wait till they patch it.
I'm guessing it's a memory hog then. If people with like 9 series cards are complaining,
especially like texture issues, that sounds like memory problems.
Exactly. Like a lot of people are complaining blurry textures, things like that, where it's like, okay, they're probably just running into a memory bandwidth, because you'd be shitting me if it's something with 1070 raw performance can't push this game at 1080.
Yeah, this is made by Deck 13. Let's see where Deck 13. It's a German developer.
We're not talking about Control here.
Yeah. There's a little bit of like a smaller team, I'm assuming. I don't know any other games Deck 13 has released. Let me find out really quick.
Otherwise, though, everyone's like, yeah, no, it's a fun game.
Yeah. Oh, they released Lords of the Fallen, which some people had a lot of criticism on too. I'm having fun with it. Is it Sekiro? No, it's nowhere near Sekiro level of Souls, or it's nowhere near Dark Souls either. But if you like those types of games, I can safely say, if it runs well, you would absolutely enjoy this one, especially just the loot side of it. The loot side of it has been such a blast, and figuring out, the best way to maximize your damage. Don't look up any fucking spoilers, kind of take the game in fresh, because you're going to find these really fun areas that's part of the fun, is finding those secret hidden things, finding that weak point on that boss and how to beat them. That's where these games kind of really shine. So if you like that stuff, you got a good one. And I'm interested in hearing Doobie's opinion on this next one, Code Vein, which is an anime Souls-like.
Yeah, I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm far enough in it now where I feel like I can talk about it. I've never played a Souls game. I played a little bit of Bloodborne, and it wasn't my cup of tea, I guess, aesthetically. So Code Vein comes out. It's Bandai Namco developed and published. So the best way I can say it is it has a story. Like, it actually has a story. There are characters. The lore is not hidden like it is, I know, in Souls games, where that you kind of have to like look for the lore, and that it's really just explore this area, fight these bosses. So Code Vein has a really neat custom creation. It has a story with long cutscenes and everything. It runs pretty well. I haven't noticed any frame drops or anything. I'm playing on a PS4, not Pro, just regular PS4. The art style is really colorful. I'm finally hitting a lot of places like I don't know if it's kind of like this Souls thing where like every Souls game has like what it's like, I guess, like a cathedral area. I know that Anor Londo in the first one is kind of like that, where it's like this giant kind of like cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
There's an area like that, and it is a complete and utter disaster of a bitch to navigate casually. It's just, it's confusing.
Welcome to Souls, dude. Welcome
is that a Souls thing where it's just like, okay, so it's confusing. So
like part of the Souls game is exploring these areas that are so convoluted and so dense in enemies that the reward is finding that secret shortcut back to like your bonfire without dying. And if you die, then having to travel all the way the fuck back there, go through those enemies again without dying again, getting your soul, and then trying to, that's where kind of that tension gets built. But yeah, it's a very convoluted disaster. That's a Souls game, man.
Yeah, so the basis of this one is everyone's like, there's vampires and there's humans. You kind of learn why there's like not a lot of humans left, why the world kind of went to hell. And that's like I said, there's a lot of story to it. Gameplay wise, so you have your classic Souls, like where you get beating enemies, you get the currency that you spend on items, spend to level up. Leveling up only does 3 things: raises your base HP, raises your base stamina, and raises your base attack. That's all that leveling up does. Everything else is determined by your equipment, as in your armor, and by what is called these like blood codes, which you unlock throughout the game. And what it is essentially you unlock different classes. So, but you can then also customize it where you can, if you use a class enough and you kind of master certain skills, you can equip that no matter what code you have on. So if you really wanted to put the time into it, or you can also like spend points to unlock those without having to put the time in. So let's say there's like the big defensive class that uses heavy armor, and you want the boost to your dexterity, or you want the boost to your attack, but you also want to have the option to use magic. You can definitely mix and match and customize and make your character, which I really like that. So it's really interesting how like everything scales, like all your stats and stuff. It all scales with your armor and with your blood codes. So that's kind of where you get your builds from. So right now I kind of use the old general purpose, the Prometheus blood code, which I really like. But I think I've unlocked 10 or 12 different blood codes already that have anywhere between 6 to 12 different skills.
So let me ask you, are the weapons and the armor that you get, is that really where the stats come into play? Your weapons and your stats come into play. Your weapons will have different mobility levels, like normal, slow, fast. I haven't seen any fast. Everything's either been normal or slow. But I've had armor which has made my two-handed greatsword go from mobility slow to mobility normal. Mm-hmm. So I can use that weapon and it comes out faster. It's still going to be slower than a one-handed sword, but it's not. There's just a lot of numbers. That's pretty cool. That's Souls too, yeah.
Yeah, and I really like that, and it really lets me play the character I want to play as, pretty much.
Right.
One of the other things I've noticed is it's like I found what works for me, but there are a lot of different weapons. The bosses have been pretty interesting. I've first tried a lot of bosses. There's been a few that have been hard. And one of the things that I guess you kind of get it in some Dark Souls games where I guess like the Onion Knight will fight with you, or wherever that guy is, the Praise the Sun dude. But this game has a partner system, and you unlock new NPCs that you can bring with you out into the world that will fight alongside you. And it's almost like Sekiro a little bit, in which I say that like death isn't always the automatic end. And by that I mean there's a skill called Restorative Offering, where you or your AI partner can sacrifice their HP to give you HP. And if you go down and they're able to use that, they will. So they'll bring you back with like 1/4 of your health. And that'll take like 1/4 of their health if they have the health to give. Mm-hmm. And that's been handy in boss fights. I've kind of abused that in boss fights, just because I'm at the very end and I don't have any healing left. And I will, that's a strat I'll do to kind of cheese the AI. And of course, I don't know if it's like this in Souls games, but when you beat a boss, you replenish everything. Because when you beat a boss in Code Vein, your health, your healing items, all that stuff immediately replenishes.
I don't know if that's in Souls games, but usually the boss is the end, and
there's usually a bonfire like right next to them, right?
Yeah, but sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you have to you'll fight another boss like in Sekiro, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And then you
hit
lose.
So you essentially hit a gauntlet.
Yeah, and then you lose. You go all the way back, get to fight both bosses again, but then you're kind of ready for it.
So does Souls also give you the option? And I haven't needed it because there's a lot of skills that'll let you kind of return to what in this game bonfires are called missiles. They're like little plants. And there's like in your home base, you have like a hot tub, or like it's like a hot springs. And if you were to, let's say you lost all your souls in a boss fight and you just didn't, you lost a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want to keep bashing your head against the wall to try to get them back but keep losing, you can rest at the hot spring and get half of them back and forfeit the other half.
Oh, no, that's a new thing.
I like that. I haven't needed it, but I do like that that's an option if I ever had to, because I've hit that part of the game where I guess it's like a Souls game where enemies will hit me, and of course I'm in a very narrow path, and I'll be knocked right off the map.
Yeah.
That is a Souls thing, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
there's
a
actually
lot of same conventions.
There's hot springs in Souls 3, but it just heals you. Or maybe no, there's hot springs in what's the other one? Neo. In Neo, you kind of take a little jacuzzi bath and it'll heal the shit out of you. But there's no like, it doesn't like drop your money off in there, which I think is pretty cool. I like that thing because that's like, do I want to forfeit another 20,000 coins or whatever? And I do like that. It adds a little like gambling aspect to it.
There's a lot of there's like you said, so you have your shortcuts for your items like usual. You can switch weapons on the fly with the up button on the D-pad. But my favorite part is if you want to use your skills, so you can equip 4 passive skills. So I think on mine I have like strength and dexterity up, stamina up, health up, like boosts. And then I have one that lets me regain like a certain bar every time I dodge. I haven't figured out the parry system at all, but you get 8 shortcuts for all of your action skills. So it's if you hold right trigger, and then you get your main buttons, your face buttons, and then the D-pad also gives you an additional 4.
Jesus.
So you can equip buffs, debuffs, flame, like you can put poison on your weapon, you can put status ailments on your weapon, you can do something that will decrease your defense but will raise your attack. And there's just a ton of different, they're called gifts in this game.
Let me ask you, what is the combat like? Is it fun? Is it fluid? Is it like more slow, like how a lot of Souls are? Is it like more parry based, like Sekiro, or is it more like roll based?
There's a parry system, but I haven't needed to use it, and I don't know the timing on it. It's very confusing. So you get your armor there's like different styles of armor. There's one that's like called like the Hound class, and they all kind of change 2 things. They change the way you backstab. So that gift system, there's a thing called Iker, and that's kind of based on how many points you can spend on your debuffs, on your buffs, on your different abilities. And you can, when you rest at a missile, that will go back to the 20 that it's set at. And then if you use a back attack, or if you hold X and you do what's called a drain attack, you can add temporary points to that. When you do rest at a missile, you will lose those temporary points. I haven't figured out the back attack. I haven't figured out where the specific area is. So I feel like I'm behind them and they don't see me, but I don't activate it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still kind of learning how to do that stuff, but I really haven't needed to do it. And I know you can like backstab bosses and stuff like that, like you can in Souls games.
Yeah, that's like a Sekiro thing.
Yeah,
mainly in Sekiro.
Yeah, so there's a parrying system. I mostly
is there
use
no
the
roll?
Dodge.
Oh,
there's
is
a dodge. There's a roll, and I use that a lot.
Yeah.
It feels because I've watched Bloodborne and I've seen Bloodborne combat, and Bloodborne looks fast. I would say this is between from what I've seen of Dark Souls, between Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. It's in the middle of that. So it's not slow, but it's not super fast.
Yeah.
I will say that the main enemy types for the most part are pretty easy once you definitely once you learn them. The variety I wish there was a little bit more variety in enemy types. They're all kind of, there's definitely like, I'm seeing the same enemies, like the grunt soldiers that are all around, and it's lore reasons why that is. So the enemies
Same in
that
the Surge.
the enemies that you fight are called the Lost, and they're essentially the vampires that kind of like didn't get blood or were like exposed to something and they turned into these things. So it's a lot of like your fallen comrades or your enemies. So it makes sense why the grunts are always going to be the same kind of grunts.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm in like the 7th area and I'm still seeing the same grunts I saw from the 1st area. They're kind of just there as fodder. They don't really give any experience. They're kind of just there.
Yeah, they just annoy you, and they could team up on you and just kill you, which sucks.
Well, I mean,
you have to like deal with them or run past them.
I might be over leveled. I don't know, because I wind up just boosting my level like crazy, just dumping all of my experience into level just for the HP and the stamina. But
Well,
yeah,
they're
I
pretty
mean,
easy.
they're like, for the most part, enemies haven't been a problem. The bosses, like I said, have been more of a problem. And really, the enemies, the enemies become a problem when they knock you off the map. That's where I have problems with the enemies.
Yeah, that seems to be like with the Surge. It's pretty difficult, but Dark Souls was certainly a lot more punishing. Just like everyday enemies that were near you. And Sekiro was interesting because there's no cheesing Sekiro. There's no like, increase your strength. It's just basically parry.
The hardest enemies in this game are the ones that do status ailments. They're the one, and then when you hit like what's like called like an invasion, which I don't know if they were in other games, but like you'll have one where you like enter an area, and the next thing you know, you were essentially having like wave after wave of enemy come after you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it gets crazy, because then it's like, oh, well, hi, here's 3 of the same enemy type that all deal this certain status ailment, where like they dealt an ailment to me where I couldn't use any of my abilities. Yeah. And which meant if I died, I didn't get that recovery from my partner. And the AI can sometimes just be bad and die.
Mm-hmm. Overall, would you say it's difficult? Or no?
I think there is a level of challenge to it, but it's not pull my hair out. This game is just ball-breakingly difficult. Yeah. Cuphead was harder.
Yeah.
But it's still not easy mode. It's not something I just play and go, oh, I'll turn my brain off. Yeah. I still have to be actively engaged. And the bosses are definitely fun. I enjoy the bosses. There's not been a ton of bosses. It's been just a lot of exploring and a lot of cutscenes. I don't know where the story goes. I know there's DLC being added. But yeah. I think if you like Dark Souls, if you like anime, if you like vampires, it's a solid pickup.
I think I'm going to check it out because I want a Souls on my Switch, and I don't want Dark Souls because it looks like shit.
Code Vein's not on the Switch.
Oh, it's not?
This is a PC PS4 game.
Oh, I thought this was a Switch game.
It might be on Xbox. I don't know what systems I think Code Vein's on all systems but Switch.
But the Switch? No, it's on the Switch, isn't it? No, it's not.
Nope.
Damn. Oh, well,
it's on Xbox.
Looks like I'm stuck
PC.
with Dark Souls 1 on the Switch.
And there's a season pass already out there. So
all right, well, let me ask you this because I don't know if the Surge is worth $60 yet.
Is this worth $60?
I want to see how long it is. I want to see how long the Surge is, but I want to ask you if you think it's worth $60.
Here's what I'll say.
That's a no.
I don't regret paying $60 for it, but it is a Bandai Namco game, and Bandai Namco games, especially on Steam, are known to go on sale pretty frequently.
Yeah.
When it's 40, if it hits 40, or 45, like you see Sekiro go, like to a lot of times right now, it's still 45. Oh, definitely pick it up. 45 is fine. It's absolutely a good price for it.
Okay.
Sekiro's on my wish list, so that's definitely a game I want to get into. And honestly, if I played Sekiro first, I might be better at the parrying, because I know that game is like super about parrying system.
Yeah, it's all about I think you would really enjoy if you're looking for like a hard, punishing game that deals with like only how good you are at it. Sekiro is so good, and there's like a nice story to it, and It's fun.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was like somebody who likes story-driven content and story-driven games. That's why the Souls and Bloodborne like series didn't really like. I didn't want to have to dive into a Wikipedia to get
Right.
the lore.
I can see why that a lot of people don't like. Like you have to find the NPCs for one, because a lot of them just they don't serve any purpose in the game other than to give you some lore, and you have to actively look for them. And I always thought that was cool. That interested me, but I can see why someone who just wants to be told why they're in this world, why that would be. I mean, that was a lot of the criticism of the first Surge. You had to like find the lore about the game. Otherwise, you could go through the whole game and not know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, and Code Vein does not hide that. Actually, so if you want to unlock more abilities to use you for those blood codes, you actually find these things called vestiges, which are like little crystals. You find them around the maps, and you take them to this NPC. She's like, "Hey, you have to relive the memories of the persons whose blood code this was to unlock this stuff." And that's where a lot of the lore is. That's where a lot of the background lore is, and these like memories that you walk through, and you kind of piece together some of these character interactions. Because lore-wise, vampires are immortal, but whenever they die, they lose a piece of their memory.
Mm.
So that's like
That sounds very
reason.
anime.
Oh, it's definitely very anime, and there are plenty of anime titties.
Okay.
That sway just with the simplest of breezes. Know this going into it.
All right, let's move on to news. Rocket League will be getting blueprints to replace loot crates, and here's how they'll work. What? What do you have to like build your NASCAR, your rocket car?
So they're getting into loot boxes, and after every match, you have a chance to gain one of these blueprints that'll tell you what you need, how much it costs in order to craft it. So it's essentially a way of giving you randomly that you're still gonna have to pay money. Mind you, it's not free. You still have to pay money. But instead of like randomly giving you something out of a loot box, this is kind of just saying, hey, you now have the ability to craft this thing.
Wait, so are the materials that you get free, or do you have to pay for those too?
You have to pay to create it, but I don't know if you get the materials or not.
So you have to pay for the blueprint?
No, you get the blueprint as like, imagine like any other game where you get the random loot box drop, like Jerry would know, CS:GO.
So instead of loot,
you got to pay for the key to open it, and then you get
Right.
random based on whatever's in there.
Okay.
This is a way to say, hey, you still have to pay for this, but you now know what you're getting. You're not like you choose what you're getting based on what blueprints you collect for free. Like they're random. And I'm wondering if this is just the way they're trying to get around loot boxes. If
For regulation?
adopt this exactly for laws. If this is a way to try to get around loot boxes, you're still offering a paid thing, but
it's still
not considered. It's not. This isn't gambling though. You're buying something.
So you have to finish crafting it, and then you pay to unlock the craft, basically.
Pretty much.
So it's not. There's no I mean, there's randomness to getting the crafting
randomness
materials.
in getting the materials
When
and the blueprint
when you
itself.
go to make the transaction, there is no randomness.
Exactly.
That's not too bad.
But it's still an incentive for you to play for the random chance to get something that you're eventually going to have to pay money for.
Imagine
Which is probably a better system than having to deal with getting sued for loot boxes in EU. Especially.
True, but like then as a player, that's such a cock tease. Like
Yeah.
there's no other way to
exactly.
put that.
Just give me the fucking opportunity to buy something. God damn it. All right.
Well, that makes it harder to be excited about it to me personally, because that's going into like oh cool, I got this blueprint. I'm not gonna care unless I'm like actually willing to invest money into it.
Mhm.
But that sets that from the start of no, you have to invest money into this. Now it will be interesting to see, are they going to do it like they were doing with CS:GO, for an example? Because this is where I thought CS:GO had a good way of doing it in some aspects, because you would still get boxes, you would get random skins sometimes, but you could sell all of them and actually get money from selling them to save up money for a key or a specific item. Are they going to allow you to sell these blueprints so then you could use those funds of your extra blueprints to buy something?
I highly doubt it. That's the one thing that I like about the CS:GO thing.
And it is built into Steam. Any game can do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping any game from doing that. So like, I could see that start happening possibly if they allow them to be tradable.
That would be great. Because
Now,
that's what's cool about the CS:GO ones is that you can fucking make money on it, which is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, like 3 cents, but it adds up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's pretty cool shit though. Yeah, I think
because that was the saving grace of that whole system was you can sell whatever bullshit you don't want to get the thing you actually want. That keeps that incentive of like, okay, I am working towards something. If it's
you could
just
sell
like,
skins to each other too, right? Like you could trade skins. So
right, but if it's just like, nope, this is what you get. It's ultimately meaningless until you invest money into it. That's not nearly as enticing to me as a player.
No, but it is better than a loot box in my opinion.
Yes, but semantically to me, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not. I hate the loot box, fucking rigged lottery bullshit. All right, what's this? Atsushi? Atsushi? That's his name. Atsushi Morita, president of Sony Interactive Entertainment Asia, retires. Atsushi retires.
And this comes one day after.
Wait, hold on. He's also associated with marketing for both Odin Sphere and Catherine. Was part of the motion capture team for Tenchu, Return from Darkness. Worked on the customer support team for both Trauma Center New Blood and Trauma Center Under the Knife 2. And was part of the supervision team for both Tomorrow Children and Gravity Rush 2. Quite the storied legacy here.
It's a lot of Atlas.
Those are some...
There's a lot of Atlas titles in there, man. Odin Sphere.
Have you ever played Catherine?
Catherine's a really good puzzle game.
It was the worst fucking money I've ever spent in my life. I was so mad that I bought that.
I liked Catherine because I liked puzzles.
If you like puzzles, play that stupid Goose game.
I've actually seen people speedrun it. They beat it in under 4 minutes. So yeah.
No, we bought the stupid Goose game. It's fun.
Is it?
I would suggest it for I would suggest it for $15 if you just want to kill some time.
It looks cute.
It is. It's adorable, actually.
I've seen all the memes from it, like the Taco Bell, but it just says "Take Bell."
Yeah. I don't know. What does that mean?
Okay, so you gotta check out Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled Goose Game. This is a game I guess I have been playing, but I didn't really think about it because Kate's been playing it more than I have.
Oh yeah, I've seen the game.
It's basically you're just a goose pulling mischievous puzzles off and like messing with people to achieve your own goals. Okay. But it is a lot of fun. It is cute little puzzles. It's an adorably the art style's adorable. Like the reactions are adorable. But for like $15, it's fun.
Okay. Is it on Switch?
Yes.
Yeah. It's currently the number one game on the eShop.
It's on sale right now for $15. I don't know if I would say $20. It's like amazing, but like for $15, sure.
Knowing them, it'll probably just drop on the sale often on $15. Whenever they do like an E3 or whatever for like the indie sale.
All right.
It'll be Anyway, so
Sean Layden is also leaving.
So back-to-back days, 2 different execs in Sony's in Sony Entertainment structure step down or retire.
Yeah, this is PlayStation's tweet. It is with great emotion that we announce the Worldwide Studios chairman Sean Layden will be departing SIE. His visionary leadership will be greatly missed. We wish him success in future endeavors and are deeply grateful for his years of service. Thanks for 30 everything,
years.
Sean.
30 years.
I mean, he's like a pinnacle of Sony Interactive. He did a wonderful fucking job there. I wonder why he's leaving. I guess it's just there's no reason for him to ever work again. So why?
I mean, Reggie left Nintendo. I guess we're at that point now where it's a changing of the guard at the top for some of these companies.
It's a lot of that because like that was the same. I mean, if he's been there for 30 years and then he's been the president for like the last 6,
he's left a good legacy.
It's
the
that
PS4 was one of their best consoles.
Yeah, like you've left a good legacy. Now you have infinite money. Go spend time with your family.
Yeah.
Like that's what Blizzard went through a couple of years ago, where everyone was freaking out about Chris Metzen leaving, and it's like, no, he was abrupt out. It's like, yeah, I have like 3 kids now. Like, I have more money than I could ever want. Screw you. I'm gonna go hang out with my 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, this is the time to do it too. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
The PS5 hasn't launched yet. You're pretty much coming down on the PS4. You're winding up. You're getting ready for the next console, the next gen launch. This
Exactly.
is the time if you're gonna, put a new person into charge as president in Asia as well as president. And I don't know what Sean Layden's job title is, but he's definitely
He was president and
high up there.
CEO.
President and CEO, yeah. This is the time
Sony
to do
Computer
it.
Entertainment America. So Asia and left and America left.
Yeah,
Which are their two
division.
biggest markets.
Yeah, their main division. No, he
Those
did
are
a
like-
fucking great job. I mean, what Sony was been able to accomplish just in the last 30 years is pretty incredible. Sony itself, as like just a large corporation, is unstoppable. I don't know how they do it. I mean, they've never really any controversy that they've ever gotten into. No one gives a shit. They just dance around it. They make tons of money. They make products that everyone loves. There's never been.
No. The way Sony works is we'll have a massive smashing success, a couple of them, and then a couple of like. Well, we all remember Sony Vaio laptops. We remember their weird ass refrigerators and their weird microwaves and shit. Like,
They
Yeah,
still
those
make
are
it so-
just-
they make
those
it
are
solid
just-
TV still.
yeah, exactly. No, but like, don't pretend they don't have some Samsung in them of just like
And
throw it all at the wall, and some of them are gonna rock it.
in 2001, you had yourself a Sony Walkman.
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone did. I mean, all right, the
Hell yeah, you
Walkman,
did.
the
Now in
PlayStation
2019
1, the PlayStation 2, the PS4, the PS3. Okay, he slipped up a little bit there.
I
But
like the 3.
all the other PlayStations are the best-selling
The-
consoles ever made.
The only reason why
The
people
three's,
didn't like the
three's
3.
entire. It's
No, the only reason
softwares.
why people didn't like the 3 was because it didn't have Halo.
Yeah, Xbox 360 came out and
Yeah,
everyone had to get online.
they tried with that. What game was it? Was it Kill Switch or whatever it was? Where they were like,
Yeah,
look at the
Kill Switch.
graphics, and then they're like, oh yeah, that was totally CG made. That does not reflect anything that the game actually looks like.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
that
but-
game came out and was like, well, what the hell happened to the trailer we got at E3? This is nothing like this.
Oh, they killed the gaming console market, multi-billion-dollar market. They're
And-
the leading camera
I was
developer.
gonna say it's 2019. You now have a Sony camera.
Everyone has a fucking Sony camera. Sony TVs are still best in class. It's
Expensive
really,
class, but
I
they're
will-
best in class.
really
I
just
will
their
say-
Vaio was their worst product.
I will say it's funny to me how like
And a
the
lot of their
PS4
weird. No, they had a lot of really weird ass home appliances. Like
Yeah, I
they
don't
were-
even remember. I won't even count those in there.
I will say it's
Just
funny,
look
it's-
it up. That used to be a major market for them, and like some of their things are just. Mwah.
It's funny how the
Like-
PS4 had all of these, like pretty much had all the PS3 games come out on the PS4 anyway. Just like how the Switch had all of the Wii U titles that were good enough to make it come.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like the software was good. Like Uncharted series, the first 3 games were fantastic, and then they made the
Oh yeah,
the
Sony
collection on
also
'em.
Sony also makes some of the best-selling headphones on the market, wireless headphones.
They also have a giant movie studio.
Also
That's-
have giant movie studio which produces hit after hit after hit. I mean,
Like
this-
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
they're just unstoppable, dude. And no one really talks about Sony's just massive conglomerate, but I find it fascinating how they're able to fucking dominate like this. I think because
well, it is because most of their stuff it's good enough.
Yeah.
Like it really is good or good enough for a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, and I think the reason why no one thinks of Sony as like an Apple is because they are sort of like they've always been around. They've just always been a good, solid brand to buy things from. So with
They
that
also-
comes like, yeah, just Sony. It's Sony, you know.
Everyone-
They don't market it like that, and they don't do like those extra little like this is special Mojo Jojo stuff, etc. It's just like, no, here's a good product, and we have
Dude.
80,000 of them. I think the biggest reason why you don't think of them as Apple is like, yeah, you have a camera and a TV, and you have 80 products from them. You don't have like the one high class masterpiece project or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, don't forget about their highly touted Sony Pictures Animation with such hits like Open Season, Surf's Up, The Smurfs,
Hey,
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah, I didn't even know these existed.
Angry Birds 2, not the first one, the second one.
Hey, dude, these are just revenue streams.
Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse though was fantastic.
These
That
are
was
just.
good, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a Sony.
Wait,
Wait,
That
no,
was
that's-
funny, and yeah, that
Wait,
was a fantastic movie.
That's my point. Is like no, they do
God,
some oopsies, but like they make so
I'm looking at
much
this
goddamn
list,
shit.
and
It's good.
Almost
Yeah.
all of them are oopsies, except for Spider-Man, which was their last one.
But at the same time, who cares? Because their main movie studio is still going to carry that entire division.
Yeah, their main movie studio pushes out insane quality. All right, but before we move on to the next story,
what reference monitor are you going to buy?
probably the Apple one, but
But until that Apple one came out, what reference monitor are you going to buy? What if you are in Hollywood? What reference monitor are you going to buy?
oh,
It's
you're
Sony.
gonna definitely buy Sony. You're definitely gonna buy.
They just have that niche. They have every niche like mastered.
Yeah. And no one really gives them their credit, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like no one sees Sony as like that Apple, but their products are fucking bestsellers. Like so good. Their TVs are excellent. Their home theaters are excellent. But I did want to ask, what's going on with Spider-Man? I saw some news about Spider-Man, and I don't really know the story of the whole Marvel universe.
All right. So-
Sony has to produce a set movie in a set amount of time always to retain rights, basically.
They
So
were
there's
originally
always news about it because everyone's like, "Oh, when's the next one?
Well,
Are they going to
the-
lose the rights? Oh no."
No, that wasn't the news that was just happening though.
Okay.
The news that just happened was the original story was the original deal that Sony and Marvel / Disney had together on the Spider-Man movies that they were in the MCU was that Disney got 5%. Yeah, I hear that too, by the way.
What are you doing, you robot monster?
Wayne, your mic
Oh,
is
oh,
crazy.
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
Anyway,
This is my phone. It's like interference.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sony was getting 5% plus all revenue from merchandise for Spider-Man in the MCU.
Okay.
They decided we don't like this deal. We want 50-50 split.
Gotcha. So it's
Disney was like, nah, we ain't doing 50-50 split. Fuck you. Spider-Man's not in the MCU anymore. You have fun with Spider-Man. We're done. They finally reached a deal. It's now a 25-75 split. But a lot of people were worried that like Spider-Man wasn't going to be in the MCU and like what the future was. But really,
What
Disney's
does
trying to
that mean,
strong-arm.
though? What does that mean that
it
they're
won't
not
be
in
in
the
Marvel
MCU?
movies.
Is that all that means?
It meant that the next Spider-Man movie would not be tied in any way to Marvel.
Yeah.
So like their cinematic universe.
Uh,
They eventually reached a deal because let's be honest, it's gonna make money, and Sony
it's-
can't say no to money. And without having Disney, unfortunately,
It's a lose
Disney
lose
strong
for
armed him
everyone.
into it.
Yeah, it's a lose for both studios.
Yeah, but Disney had it in a way that it was being spun as Sony was the ones to blame for this and all the fan
let me ask
backlash,
you.
which is
let
dumb.
me ask you something.
Disney doing that? What?
I know.
I know,
Disney's-
right? Disney that owns literally everything you want.
Disney's been on a rampage recently. But let me
Disney's
ask
gonna
you.
own the world.
What if Sony created a Spider-Man movie that alluded to the MCU? Would they get sued for that?
I don't know, but the fact is, like, in terms of
Spider-Man being in the MCU doesn't mean anything other than the fact that they can say, "Oh yeah, that's one of the other."
well, the way that
fucking
they
Marvel
position Spider-Man in the films is the heir apparent to Iron Man, which was kind of the de facto leader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Robert Downey Jr. being in a ton of films.
So
Which
can they
literally-
not?
Leader.
Which also literally only happens because of Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, exactly.
So can they not say Iron Man if Spider-Man's not in the MCU? Like that's what I don't understand. I
It
don't
would not be
understand
considered, no matter what. Even if they said, well, Iron Man, spoilers, but they're not really going to talk about Iron Man anymore. But even if they were to say, oh, the Hulk is doing something in the MCU, they would be like, well, that's not canon because he's not in their universe. Then it gets confusing.
It's
and
so
that's stupid.
stupid.
But then it's
Stupid.
already too confusing because there's now 80,000 goddamn movies that all counteract each other and make their own canon.
why. It's so
That's
dumb.
how That's how they do it. Like, I
If
mean,
I
yes,
was
they
Sony,
create-
I would have said, "Go fuck yourself. I'm making my own goddamn Spider-Man universe with Hulkman, Metal Man." I would just change all the names very slightly.
You sound like you're making a Mega Man movie.
Yeah,
Bomb Man.
yeah, exactly.
Bomber.
Well, that's kind of how
Well,
like
yeah,
the
Bomber,
the
man.
boys kind of gets away with that. I mean, they have like the Flash in there, they have Superman in there, but they don't call them that. You know, it's them. No one really.
Well, I mean,
cares.
every comic book, like almost all
tropes at
comic
this
book,
point,
have,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like Miss Marvel is essentially
Right.
Superman.
That's not. I mean, I don't know why Sony had to cave on this. I thought it was really silly. I didn't understand the backlash from all the fans either. Like, oh my God, Sony's taking away our Spider-Man from the Marvel comic universe. Not really.
It's like Harry Potter fans and horse fans.
Oh Jesus!
All right,
All I'm
moving
saying,
on.
but
Go
yeah,
ahead.
but
Go
yeah, it's dumb. I wish nerds stopped caring so much about their product, like about what they care about, and realize the company behind them.
Yeah. All right. BB. Everyone knows who BB is. We'll speak through the DualShock 4 in Death Stranding.
This is one of my things where I wish more games used the DualShock 4 speaker to an advantage. Not
Dude,
a lot
this-
of games did it.
Controller is sick. Do you see this yellow controller?
The special edition one, yeah, I saw that.
Sick as in like disgusting, yes.
Yes. And as in totally radical.
As in, Wayne's totally buying it.
No,
Yeah.
it's real. It does look really cool, but it like
Do you have
It
to buy the
is-
PlayStation to get this controller?
probably
God.
it is that like slightly off-putting asparagus urine color.
Yeah, it looks like piss, but I love it.
I
That
will
black
say
and
that-
yellow look, it just gets me every time.
So, what games come like off the top of your head actually
Horizon.
used the speaker? Horizon.
Horizon.
That's the only
uh,
one that I can remember.
The very end of Kingdom Hearts used it to great effect. It was a really cool moment when they did it. But like, and it's not like controllers
yeah,
and speakers
they
are a
did
new
do that.
thing.
No,
Well,
they
it's
did-
also-
it's not even that though, but it is like okay. So when you're thinking of like building for a console market, it is hard to be like to use it as anything more than an extra effect. Like to say like this is why this is interesting to me that like okay, so the BB character is going to be a main plot point. Like this is integral to the game, and it's going to be using the speaker. Most people I think don't do that because with a console, how many people only buy DualShock 4s? Like if you have a PlayStation 4, are you gonna really look at me in the eyes and say I've only bought like DualShock 4s? I don't have like a $20 bullshit controller somewhere if someone else comes over. Like you do run into that risk of like
Right.
a lot of people buy weird aftermarket controllers.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So it makes it like it's harder to make it as like this is integral because you don't have that control of like
Interesting.
now everyone should have a DualShock. It comes with the system, you know.
Everyone
but,
should
like,
have one, yeah.
right, but like you can't.
But you can break it, and some people who are poor might not be able to afford that fucking $60 for another one.
That or like I mean it's like how you're oogling the Elite controller. You know what I mean? Like people like buying and customizing like their own controller. So it is harder to say like are they all going to have this same speaker working this same exact way? Now I think you could totally get away with that mostly for little effects like Horizon with like zoom in, zoom out, things like that or map or whatever. But like BB's voice, this is going to be interesting
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, and this is. I mean, I should have known.
Is the voice just gonna be like
I
squeaking
should've
in your
known-
controller?
You should have known that this is not like Kojima always likes pushing boundaries. I mean, you look back to Metal Gear Solid 1, the Psycho Mantis fight.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's
he
what I hope.
loves messing with hardware. on
That's
the
what I
system
hope
to tell a
he's able
story.
to do with this. Like, I hope it's some weird way that because that was fucking great. We had to like switch the fucking controller ports. Like, what? And the fucking console knew it, so it like it couldn't read your emotions and shit. I mean, that shit is. That's why Kojima's the.
That's
fucking
like
man.
taking like you're thinking completely outside of the box.
Yeah.
God,
And it like
Kojima
makes
is so
sense
good.
in the world. It's not just like a gimmick, you know? It's like he was able to read your thoughts. So what you had to do, and then like looking at the back of the box to get the code for that right that right radio thing to call in to Big Boss. I mean, that shit is just so fucking cool. And that's the stuff that I really remember from like gaming in my childhood. And we've kind of lost that in the last decade or so. But hopefully Kojima brings it back. I just don't want some baby fucking crying through my controller all game, because then I'm not playing a goddamn game. All right. Mario Kart Tour is free, which means it costs more than ever. This beautiful Vice headline. That's fucking great. Mario Kart is free, which means it costs more than ever. What's it like to play Mario Kart Tour? A gacha game with a simplistic kart racer attached. Yeah, I heard about this. What is it, $10 a month?
It's something, I don't know. It's
$4.99.
Way too much is what it is.
$4.99 a month. Nintendo's mobile division could be so good. It could be so good. Oh, this is what we need to talk about. Thank you for reminding me. But do you have any other thoughts on this?
It's funny to me that there was the one company that's like, Nintendo could make so much more money if they were to not, be so nice to the customers. And then they make this, and it's awful to the customers.
And also, I'm sorry, Nintendo people. No, they're not being nice. Nintendo is not nice. Nintendo is not your friendly company. When Mario still costs $60 and it's 3 years old.
You were going to pay full price for Breath of the Wild and like it.
Yeah, but at least those games are they actually hold up. So I will give.
No, I agree, but it's just like, stop pretending they're like your friend when it's like, no, dude, still $60.
This is the perfect example of that. I mean, Mario Kart on the phone, it's barely a Mario Kart.
But you can play Mario Kart for free on your phone, or you can buy rubies to do a special coin rush course, or you can spend extra rubies to get more coins, or you can buy the subscription tier to get even more coins, but still spend money on top of that to boost your coins.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is what I want to talk about. Apple Arcade. I have Apple Arcade.
I was going to say, yeah, just why isn't it part of Apple Arcade?
Yeah. Well, because you can't price gouge on Apple Arcade. And I think Apple Arcade, I was skeptical at first. I'm completely sold on Apple Arcade.
I've heard very good things about it, yes.
Every game that I played on Apple Arcade has been very, very joyful. They're not they're still kind of mobile games. But, man, dude, the fact that you can't have any microtransactions, there's no freemium, free-to-play bullshit, wouldn't you know, it actually opens up the fucking game to be a lot more enjoyable. And I'm super pumped on it. I played Sayonara Hearts. I played Spec, which is this awesome like perspective puzzle game, which you can turn on AR and play it to line up the perspectives in AR, which I thought was fucking brilliant. I played this skateboard game, which is fucking great. And I played another game. The submarine, not submarine game, but the underwater game by Capcom. And dude, I think Apple Arcade is going to be a lot bigger in the future. Once we start it's going to be like the Netflix of mobile gaming, which I assume is what they intended. And I can't wait, because I'm a huge proponent or advocate for mobile gaming. It's just been destroyed recently. And I think this is the only way to fix that, is to offer a subscription service that pays these people well, or they pay them well for their games. There's no fucking bullshit in there. You get the game, you play the game, you have fun, you move on to the next one.
There is Sonic Racing included in it as well.
Yes, I haven't played that one. I think I have played Sonic Racing, but not whatever version this is. And it's like a on rails racer, right? Like a runner.
I do think it's a really good concept. I wouldn't. I haven't bought it yet. I did the free trial, but when it comes down to it, I think it's a good service. I don't play games on my phone.
Yeah.
I think having the controller helps a lot. But like where they're heading with this, I do agree has potential. Some of the games actually are quality. Like if you're talking, especially when you're talking about phone games.
I'm telling you, all they need is one multiplayer game that everyone gets, like a Word with Friends, something like that, that is super simple, super fun to play, gets all your friends in, everyone will buy it just to play that game, and that will get these other indie developers included.
Now,
that people are like, oh, I already have it. I'll get Sayonara Hearts because I hear it's good.
are developers allowed to also do the Android version? Is what my question would be.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because I think if you're talking about a multiplayer game, you would have to have them be available to use both.
Yeah.
Because then that would be big enough that, okay, everyone's going to buy it no matter what phone system.
Oh, well, Google Play just announced Google Play Pass, which is essentially the same thing.
Well,
just Android.
A little bit, but I'm I'm impressed with both of them in separate ways. So the arcade and Apple Arcade seems really cool for all of the games. The games actually seem like they're pretty quality. The Google one also seems very interesting to me because it is games, but it's also
apps. Yeah.
It's a lot of apps that I already owned on my Pixel. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the apps that they did include with that, it was like, oh yeah, I bought those like 4 or 5 years ago. They're fucking quality apps.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I think that's impressive too. Where it's
Yeah.
like, that's interesting, where I kind of want that on the Apple Arcade, because that would give me more incentive to actually buy it, since I'm not going to play games on it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that Apple Arcade games are allowed on Android. So I don't know if that'll be a thing. I could be wrong though. I don't see anything about that. But I would imagine not. And I think if there's just that one game that everyone's friends are playing, that's what's going to really help them out. Because right now it's a bunch of like fun indie games that are kind of like, you know, they're not games that you're going to play for a while. Like a Words with Friends or a Farmville, you know what I mean?
Right. I do agree, but I do think it is Apple. They won't do this if they are locked down, but I think they should open it up a bit to allow the developers to have a little bit more freedom. But I think if you actually really want to push that, like, game, like, you know, like, this is the phone game, I think you do have to have it on all platforms.
Yeah. Maybe just charge it on Google, you know. If it's not on the Play Pass, then just be like, you have to buy it for $2.
Right. As long as they let you at least do that, you know. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's get real quick into tech.
Oh, I did want to mention.
Go ahead.
Fuck you, Bungie. Fuck you, Blizzard. This whole Destiny bullshit is bullshit.
Yeah, so go ahead, explain.
So right now, when we could cover this like a couple of months ago, that Bungie split from Activision.
Yeah. And
Activision's been petty. Bungie's been useless. If you log into your Blizzard account right now, you'll notice that Destiny's just gone. It's no longer on your like available games. It's just gone. And then when you try to look it up, you will have received like one email put in your spam folder saying 3 months ago that eventually Destiny is going to move to Steam. And then when you go to Bungie, you will find a hot garbage of a mess of trying to transfer your character over to Steam. Like, I've been trying this for like 3 days and I still haven't gotten any character to actually successfully transfer over to Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Which, while the game is free, and
the game is also down right now.
I know it's been down for days, even though, and also in all of their promotional material, which they specifically said it would be available until October 1st, even though the game's actually been off the launcher for like a week. It feels like, like it's just been lies all over the place, basically. I'm not gonna play Destiny, to be honest. I'm still not a big fan of it, but the way all of this has been handled has just left a bad taste in my mouth on all sides, because Bungie has never tried to contact me.
Mm-hmm.
Activision, you know, they've like
just shady shit.
They don't give a shit because it's leaving, you know, but Bungie's not really doing good on their own side of trying to keep their players. But it's also like, dude, I'm just trying to do this transfer because I paid for a $60 fucking game that I don't want to lose because you decided to switch studios.
Yeah, is there like a time limit? If you don't switch in time, then it's just gone.
See, I think so, but I'm not even 100% sure. So if you have Destiny, try to switch it, I guess.
Yeah,
or else you're gonna lose it, or you're gonna have to make a new free account. Like, the way they've handled this whole merger has just been bad. There's no other way for me to put it. Like, I'm still stuck on, okay, so now the Bungie website is just listed me a transfer agreement picture. and a broken scroll bar, and that's it. This is where I am at in the transfer process. It just doesn't work.
We have breaking news. I didn't see this today. Mark Zuckerberg's full transcript of his leaked internal Facebook meetings has been leaked, and Mark Zuckerberg has been rallying Facebook employees against critics, competitors, and the U.S. government, and these were all leaked in his in these internal meetings, and this is very interesting. I'm gonna have to read more into this and see what's going on. Dude, I showed Kokan a Instagram of Mark Zuckerberg posted an Instagram story. Let me see if I can find it. And he's playing like this kazoo and like screaming alongside it. God damn, I didn't laugh harder. Yeah, this is very interesting. We'll update you on this next week because it seems like there's a lot going on here. They're talking about TikTok. They're talking about the FCC. They're talking about the government. There's a lot in here. I'm very interested to see how Mark Zuckerberg handles this stuff internally. That's really what I want to check out. All right, we have a couple things we'll get out of here. Zcam. I showed you the Zcam. The reviews have been getting out. This is a $2,000 Micro Four Thirds cinema camera that shoots 4K up to 160 frames per second in 10-bit. Apple ProRes certified. Gigabit Ethernet for data control and live streaming. If there's a USB-C port where you can attach a SSD to it, you don't have to use like Red Mags, which cost $350.
No, it's a full cinema camera. It's a Red. It is a C200. It like for quality of like.
It's a Red Dot Award winner of 2019. Red Dot is a design product and design award.
It has SDI. It has full HDMI. It has every.
The colors look great from the images that were shown.
Well, now that's what I have been waiting for, is for people to actually review this and get in their hands. Because when we were talking about this on the show almost a month ago, when the Panasonic S1H was coming out and the Blackmagic 6K, whatever you want to call it, those were both coming out, and I kept trying to remember this Z-Cam, but I kept talking about there's another little Micro Four Thirds cam coming. I'm happy to see this getting reviews finally, because I've seen on News Shooter, like, there's been a couple of people just like waiting for this camera since the beginning of the year. I forget which conference like they brought this out, but it was getting a lot of hype.
Yeah,
I think it was from the big one. I
forget the name too, but $2,000 you get the body. If you just get the body, so it's going to be a little bit more if you want like a screen, if you need a cage on it, if you need the SSDs. You're probably going to spend around $5,000 if you don't have anything. If you have no lenses, you know what I mean? You're going into it cold. You're probably still going to spend $5,000, but that's a drop in the bucket compared to anything else on the market that has these specs.
And it looks, the actual image is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like what I'm also impressed, it is a small body. You could do a lot of things with this. Now it is Micro Four Thirds, but like, so what? Honestly, unless you need that full frame bokeh, like this isn't a vlog camera. Like the fact that it's this big, it's the size of like one of those old Blackmagic ones, like the little square studio cams. Like that's the size of it. It's a 4-inch by 4-inch square basically. Like the front of it, it's a lens mount and like a couple of buttons. So you can stick this thing on a gimbal and just go hard with it. You can do like whatever you want with it. It's sick, dude.
Yeah, it's actually. I'm thinking about getting one.
I would consider it, dude.
Yeah,
like because the other thing.
This is, by the way, real quick. This guy, he has his fully rigged out with a small rig, and it looks fucking great. I mean, it's just this tiny little cinema camera that's under $2,000. He's got Rokinon lenses on it, which are nice and cheap.
I was gonna say, I don't even think you have to spend $5,000 on this. You can you could spend $5,000 if you were to go get like, for example, go get that 1.4 1.7 Panasonic lens. That thing is dope, but that's a grand lens. If you go Rokinon, you can get two good lenses for like $800, probably less on the used market. You have 2K for the camera. A good small rig's gonna cost you probably about 200 total to like fully kit it out, because it's so small you don't need a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably already have an SSD lying around, but SSDs right now are on fire sale basically.
Mm-hmm.
You do need a monitor, but like, since you can get a cheap monitor.
Yeah.
And still have it work, because you don't have to work, like, since you're recording to an SSD anyway, you don't have to worry about, I need an Atomos that's going to record to an SSD. You can just be like, cool, I can spend 300 on a really dope small HD.
Yeah.
Like,
One
you
thing
can
that
you can get this out for like $3,500 and just be baller.
One thing that I'm super excited on is that it shoots a HEVC, the H.265 codec, and there's that same channel that I was just showing compared both H.264 and the H.265, and there was no discernibility between the two files on YouTube. There may be raw, but I couldn't tell on YouTube.
Not much, no.
Yeah. So any sort of web.
Look how tiny that thing is. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fucking rad. The only con that I've seen people talking about is it has rubber buttons.
I could see.
That's
well, no,
it.
I'm expecting that, because it will. Okay, so this is the Zcam 2. The Zcam 1 came out a couple of years ago and was kind of cool, but this is a company they're a little bit smaller, and they're basically trying to take the Blackmagic formula. Like, that's basically what they're trying to do, is they're trying to compete with Blackmagic.
Yeah, the people were saying they might be even have the same exact sensor, maybe a different, like a tweaked color signs, but I'm super impressed with what I've been seeing on it.
That's what I'm kind of guessing. Like, that's
$4,000. You get the cinema kit. This is what the cinema kit on B&H gives you. It gives you the Zcam. It gives you a cage. It looks like a small rig. It gives you a small rig cage. It gives you an adapter for a monitor. It gives you a fucking what kind of monitor is this? Well, it's a recorder actually. A Moza Air 2. No, that's a gimbal. What is this monitor? It looks like a Shogun. Well, it gives you a monitor recorder. It gives you a Ninja. So probably a Ninja 5 or a Ninja 4. It gives you the V-mount batteries, big ass batteries. It gives you an HDMI cable.
It gives you a Ninja 5, which like, why do you even need a Z5? Like, why do you even need a Ninja 5? Honestly, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll take a Ninja 5. They're amazing, but like, I don't think you even need a Z5 for this.
And you get a gimbal,
and then it has an iOS app that actually is supposed to work.
Yeah, and you can connect your phone. You can connect your phone via Lightning to USB-C, and supposedly the latency is faster than the HDMI. So you don't even need the fucking monitor. You can just connect your goddamn your iPhone.
But okay, so you have the full small rig cage with a tilting monitor mount, a Ninja, a power kit for the Ninja, some good HDMI cables.
Yep, those are Atomos cables.
Right, and an Atomix SSD 1 terabyte,
which is great.
A Rode Video Micro. Who cares about a Rode Video Micro, to be honest? But okay,
it's just capturing just field noise, which is cool.
True, but like I'm not gonna put, like, for a filmmaker's kit. Yeah, dude, I want a Rode Video Micro. Like,
you get the gimbal, the Moza Air 2.
Moza Air 2 is a good gimbal.
Yeah, it's
not a bad gimbal at all. And then you get a Mikey. Okay.
Yeah, you get a Mikey.
But it is a cinema. It is a T2.2. It is a cinema mic.
T2.2 25. I mean, this for $3,500.
I would.
Or no, $4,000. I'm sorry, $4,000.
I would still consider making my own kit, but like that, yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. After that, yeah, no, then you just then you just got to start getting glass, which you're getting micro 4/3 glass.
I would get a shoulder mount.
It's a dime a dozen, dude.
Shoulder mount with like a follow focus, then get some good glass, and that's it. And then you just start building it up. I mean, for indie filmmakers, this is the camera. The only camera I would recommend would be the Blackmagic, but their batteries are shit.
Well, no, because with this, you're gonna have to get a battery mount eventually anyway. So I consider that a wash. Like, if you're gonna actually kit this thing out and try to use it, you're still gonna put a V mount on it. Yeah. You're gonna do that with either of them. but like, okay, like let's see. So that lens is about a $350 lens. I just found it. What I am curious about is like, okay, so you can get a Rokinon kit for $1675. That's for EF mount. Dude, oh yeah, dude, Micro Four Thirds glass is so fucking cheap.
Yeah,
Like
what's
for
the
even
mount
for
on
good,
here?
even for good glass. Is it just Micro Four Thirds or is it a weird mount? That's the worry.
No, it's just a Micro Four Thirds mount. It looks like.
That's what it looks like, yeah. I mean, if it's just a Micro Four Thirds mount, like,
Yeah.
$1,500. Okay, so for $1,500, here you go. You got a 24, a 35, a 50, and an 85 at T1.5 from Rokinon. All geared too, so you could have a polar for it. That was
Yeah.
going to be my other suggestion. Go get that little, I forget the brand, I'll have to look it up, but there is that little focus polar that's been like, it's under $100 and it's still a remote focus polar that like a lot of people have been really liking.
Yeah, I don't know about Mikey lenses. I haven't quite seen it. You don't want to get any of the lenses that have autofocus in it. You want to get a cinema lens because this camera does not have any autofocus. That's one thing that you need to be aware of.
Mikey's is fine.
16 mil at Micro Four Thirds. What is that, like a 25?
No, Micro Four Thirds is double. It's a straight double. So like 16 would be 32.
32.
Yeah. But like, so for 1,500 here for lens kit, like you'd get a 24, which would be a 48, a 35, which would be a 70, a 50, which is 185, which is what, 170? All it on Micro Four Thirds T1.5. So that's really like T3. You're not going to get super bokeh with this camera unless you
get cinema glass, like actual cinema glass.
Right. Well, this is what I'm looking at is cinema glass. So the T1.5, that'll help a lot. My other thing was going to be...
That should be good enough to give you some.
What I was going to say is, if not, you can still put a speed booster on it. It's Micro Four Thirds. There's nothing stopping you from using a speed booster. And then just using EF glass.
Interesting. Yeah, this is you
So
can even get the zine lenses. I forgot the fucking zine lenses.
Thanks to Panasonic, there's a lot of really fucking good Micro Four Thirds glass now.
Interesting.
And
I
like
wonder how what's like the let's see all the zine. I want to see the widest zine that they have. Oh well. All right, we'll look that up later. Yeah, I'm super impressed with this camera. So far from what I've seen, I like it all. I like everything that I've seen. You could get a zine kit for less than 10 grand. That's not too bad.
To me, it seems like a better form factor Blackmagic, which is what I wanted from it basically.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd still go with Blackmagic. I would have to recommend this.
I would also see what Blackmagic's going to do, because Blackmagic used to literally make this camera. They have an older camera that is literally this form style. It's called the Studio Cam. Where's the new one of those? Like, they could still make one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Blackmagic, but from the colors that I've seen that Zcam has been able to do,
exactly.
I'm very impressed.
Then it'll come down to which color do you like more, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm guessing the Blackmagic will be slightly more expensive. But
see, this is the thing.
Is that worth it when it also comes with a full version of DaVinci?
Yeah. And this is the thing too. Blackmagic's the 6K camera is a APS-C camera. So you can use Canon EF glass natively on it. That's pretty interesting. But I don't know. It's a tough one, man. $2 grand and you have you can shoot 4K 120. That's insane.
True, but the flip side is the Blackmagic that would be competing against that's the normal 4K. Yeah. That's $1,400. So it's I don't know. I don't know entirely how I feel about this. I really like the idea of it. I think it's kind of sick, but like I'm just happy there's actually some cool competition, and there's actually a couple of really cool little budget cinema cameras.
Yeah. All right,
They look
last
good.
story. Last story. I got to get out of here. The GoPro Hero 8 Black has been released, and from everything that I've seen, it looks like just the best action cam that you can get. Their new hyper smooth stabilization looks fucking incredible. It actually looks incredible.
They finally got a competition too, dude, from DJI. So yeah, it looks good.
I was literally just thinking about upgrading my GoPro to a 7, and now that this is out, I'm so happy I waited. Because
I would have waited because I probably would have bought the DJI over the 7, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, now I'm getting this one. It's got the mount already built in. There's no more stupid cage that you have to put in. They keep the microphone underneath. There's this cool like vlogging kit that they have, which is just like a tiny cage that wraps around it that has a shotgun mic, USB-C to it. It's just overall just like the next evolution of the action cam. The only downside is that the image still kind of looks like shit, but these are images and videos that go on your phone anyway, and they look damn good on the phone. So if you into
True.
GoPro and action cams, or you need like a small camera, the 8's out. You know, it's pricier. I think it's still $400, but you have.
I am
pretty
still
damn
gonna
good.
wait.
Oh, here it is.
Wait,
There's the vlog thing.
personally, the vlog thing looks so stupid. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. Looks great.
I'm sorry. This is a media mod. Okay, never mind. This is like someone.
Yeah, the
put,
media
like,
mod.
a little tiny fucking like 8 LED light on top of it, and it just looks so dumb.
Looks great, dude.
No, dude, this looks so stupid.
No way, you're wild. I think that looks fucking rad. With the little fucking tiny little screen that flips up.
No, I haven't seen the screen that flips up yet, but like, and it. Oh, okay. I just think those little tiny lights look just dumb as hell.
Yeah, I think this is pretty
okay.
cool,
The
though.
little flip up screen is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's just like a little vlogging set. You know, you got to run around with it pointing at you. You
Now
got the mic.
I still would never buy one of these for vlogging.
Well, you
But
do
it's
if you're like
interesting.
vacation. If you're like on vacation and you're doing some sort of outdoor like when I took it to Italy, we were on the boat
right.
and stuff. It's perfect for that.
Yes, I agree. That's perfect. But like for like if people are thinking like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be a vlogger with this, like I hate the fisheye, dude. It was cool for like the first year, and now we're on like year 12 of people still vlogging with fisheye always. And
Yeah.
no, dude, just go buy. You can go buy like a Canon M3 for like $200. Just do that, please.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, this is strictly just for like any sort of action, anything where you're outside and you're moving around. I don't recommend you use your phone for that stuff because the bit rates they just don't look that good. GoPros, their cameras are meant for that stuff, and they've done a pretty good job. It's a GoPro. You know what you're getting with a GoPro. Now, you don't have to put that stupid cage on. That's a big thing for me. I hated having to bring the whole kit anywhere. Now you could just chuck the fucking little camera in your bag and you're good.
no, I would still be careful about that personally, but that's just me. Because I'm also like in that same review, I'm already seeing they broke their review unit just by dropping it without a cage.
Oh, and the lens they broke?
They broke the they broke the back. They didn't break the lens.
Oh, they
but
broke the back screen?
Right.
Ooh. Yeah, don't drop it. Don't drop it. And
Yeah, don't drop your action camera.
don't drop it. And if you break your lens, this one's not replaceable. There's no replaceable lens on these new ones either. It's all built in. Thank you, Apple. All right, that's it. Man, this Z-Cam is so fucking tiny. It's pretty insane. This guy's just holding it in his hand. That's the Z-Cam,
Yeah, no,
by the way.
it's I wasn't kidding. It's a 4-inch square or cube.
So cool. Hopefully it does well for them.
Yeah.
I
no,
would
'cause,
love to
like,
see Z-Cam do some more stuff like how Blackmagic is doing it.
Right. No, the same, because like having actually having competition there would be amazing too.
Yeah.
Because like
We need Blackmagic to release an actual like DSLR with autofocus. Something like that.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But like bringing more high quality stuff down to the basic cinema, like high quality cinema level gear down to like an actual $3,000 budget is kind of sick.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. This is a new day and age for the indie filmmaker or just web developer, web content provider. You have a lot of options. Music videos, there's people that like to do like those real cheap music videos. Now all your shit can look really, really good.
Like, dude, if you're a doc filmmaker,
Right.
this is sick, because for the long time it's just been everyone buys a C200.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing documentaries, you buy a C200, and actually seeing competition there is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Related to that, I'm debating I might have a review of Magellan TV in a couple of weeks, so we'll see about that.
What is that?
$5 a month, and it's just documentaries.
Oh.
Seems interesting. I want to go through the test trial period and like see how many good ones there actually are.
All right, I'm excited.
But like it seems kind of good, actually, honestly.
I'm excited. Interesting.
It just sounds like it's a bunch of filmmakers who make documentaries. Like, here, $5 a month. Here's 1,500 of them.
Cool. All right. Getting out of here. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Twitch at NoLife Digital and on Mixer and on our YouTube channel. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.